Okay, so I finished tempering them and they're kind of a dark straw color. So they should be relatively tempered back, but we're about to kind of test that out and stuff. I'm 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 curious to see how this does as far as like not really destructive testing unless not intentionally destructive testing. I'm going to like drop some of these pieces and stuff and see like if they break, but even after tempering for 1 hour at 400 degrees and then tempering and letting it cool slowly and then tempering it again a second time at 400 degrees for an hour, it still skates a file. Not quite as much, but like still pretty hard. So I'm surprised. This one, you can actually see the material removal. This one is actually quite soft, and this is the one that I didn't allow to soak. So no soak, 5 minute soak, and then 10-minute soak. And this one being the hardest, this one still being relatively hard, but still kind of somewhat softish. That means my knife, overall, I'm going to probably let it soak at least 10 minutes. I may shoot for 15 or 20, I'm not sure yet. But depending on how these do, actually, I will, see if I need to make adjustments to that and whatnot. But let's begin with a simple drop test. I'm just going to drop it on concrete, see if it breaks. Then I'll try dropping it on my anvil and see if it breaks. And then we'll move on from there. Alright, we'll drop the softest first, which I'm pretty sure will... Let me see, where is this shot? Okay. Probably will not have any deformation to it. Yeah, it looks like it might have scuffed a little bit, actually. That's kind of surprising. Interesting. So that really is soft, then. Alright, then we'll do the sort of chisely piece that was done, or soaked for 5 minutes. Drop it point down. Definitely rang out pretty clear. It has a scratch, but no deformation on it, so that's good. Alright, now we're going to try dropping this one and see if it does anything, if it cracks or explodes or what have you. Hopefully I'm dropping this from relatively the same height. Just kind of fun. Let's see. Yeah, again, kind of scratched, but not deformed or anything. That's good. Alright, I want to try dropping them again, but from as tall as I can. I'll drop them all from like back here, so hopefully this is in shot. And as high as I can reach. There's that one. There's that one. And here's that one. Alright, and it's got some scuffs on it, as might be expected. It's still pretty resilient though, that's nice to know. I honestly can't see anything on this one at all. And then this one, it's got scratched on the side, I think. But other than that, that's... Is that a chip? I can't tell if that's a chip. looks like a chip, actually. Okay, see, I don't know if y'all can see this at all, but the end of that is chipped just a little bit right there. That makes me wonder if I need to temper it a little bit further for the final one, or if a chip from, you know, let's say 7 foot tall, 7 foot plus drop is point down no less is probably to be expected. I would guess maybe that's a fair assumption. That's probably still pretty reasonable, I guess, but I don't know. We will try dropping it on metal and then kind of see from there, I guess. Okay. Sorry, I realize this isn't the prettiest setup, but hopefully it demonstrates at least some amount of, you know, learnability, I guess. It's not exactly the most scientific thing. I mean, if I had Rockwell hardness testing files and stuff, I mean, that would really make this a lot easier, but without that stuff, I kind of have to test and guess and whatnot, and follow the data sheets at least to some degree. But here we go. I'll just try dropping it on the anvil and see about straight out arm's length. See if it did anything to it or not. Doesn't appear to have done much of anything. Possibly nicked it down here a little bit, but if so, not much. Yeah, might as well drop it. Alright, next up is the smaller one. Okay, let's see what that one did. It rings awfully loud, but it doesn't appear to have gotten cracked or anything. Focus on my hands, thank you. Focus better, there you go. So, yeah, not much if any, so good to know. Okay. And lastly, we'll drop this again. Hopefully I'm not damaging my anvil, actually. That's a potential concern. And Interesting. Okay. Let's see if y'all can see that. You know how there was a little bit of what looked like a chip and deformation and whatnot? It actually kind of knocked that out. Which means the steel is probably soft enough and it doesn't crack or anything too bad. It like crunches maybe, I don't know, like crunchy still, that's what you want. I mean, it looks like a Dorito after all. Yeah. All right, let me think. All right, so let's try an actual like destructive type test. I'm gonna put stuff in the vise so that they're about a ½ inch up, and then I'm going to hit them with a punch. You'll see. Whatever. Punch and hammer. There we go. I'll try to apply roughly the same amount of force, and I'm going to kind of do it diagonally. So 1, 2, 3. Don't try this at home, by the way. This is kind of dangerous. I'm wearing safety glasses. That's oddly, honestly, not enough, but hey, we'll see. Alright, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Let's do 3 and see what it does. And it did Literally nothing. Alright, I'll set up the next one. Okay. Do this one. I had to kind of do it a little bit over to the side, but that shouldn't affect it too much. It was too long to fit in the vise in the middle. One. Moved it. Two. And three. See if it made any mark at all. Doesn't even appear to have been bent, so that's pretty good, because that's the hardened section of that. I think it's still, yeah, it's like 100% flat, so that's, oh, you'll see, 100% flat. Flat enough. Oh, okay, interesting. We will do the last one now. It's pretty tough still. I'm impressed. Okay, and time for the hardest and thinnest piece of steel. This should be interesting to see how this goes. If it breaks, that will tell us a lot. If it doesn't break or if it bends, that will tell us a lot also, but it will be a more positive outcome. So, one. That made a better sound, honestly. Two. And three. Yep. Removed oxidation, but it doesn't appear to have even, you know, bent or harmed it at all. So I'm saying that 10-15 minute soak, 2 cycles of 400 degree temperings, that should be more than enough. One last test I could do with this is if I sharpen it and then see if I could like cut through a nail or what its edge retention is as far as just like abuse goes, then that would be nice to know. The only reason I'm a little bit hesitant to bother with that though is because I've never worked with O1 before, so I don't have a huge basis of comparison for it. So I may skip on doing that part of it, but this still shows, to me at least, that it is very hard but also very tough steel. You want to do a bend test? You want to see if this bends at all? I bet it doesn't bend. Let's try a bend test. I bet this is going to be more along the lines of Engelman breaks a freaking piece of steel test instead of a bend test, but hey, we'll see how it goes. Maybe it'll surprise us. God, there's no good way to bend this though because of its shape. Yeah, I'll try this way. See if I can catch it on the end. It flexes. It's got some flex to it. Ooh, yeah, it cracked. It shot that piece off quickly too. And that's why you wear safety stuff. It flexed except for that area too, so that's really interesting to see if we can. What is it? I'll take off my safety glasses. What does that grain pattern look like? Focus. Focus, focus. Okay, I'm gonna have to look at it real close. Sorry. It's super, super fine. Slightly chalky. I think that's what you want. I'm not entirely certain. Sorry if that's wrong. I will research it before I put this video up and whatnot and know for sure. But that's impressive that all it did was break that tip off. I think that's going to be more than sufficient for, you know, a kitchen knife. I don't intend to try to bend it at a 90-degree angle or, you know, cut a coconut in half with it or anything. But after seeing that, it probably could do it. So, you know, we'll call it there. Yay, heat treating.